Good morning, everybody. It's me, San Martin, and Eric Knight of the Prescott Times. Eric, good morning. How are you doing, and what is going on?
I am doing well. Did that wake you up? It woke me up. I don't even
Yes.
know. With your intro, I don't even know if I need my coffee anymore.
We'll call it up for the. We'll chuck it up for the good guys. A lot of people are starting to really enjoy that morning thing. I've been getting a few compliments for the production and as far as like what is going on with the Prescott Times. So thank you everybody that reaches out and talks with us about it. It's amazing to go ahead and see the reach that we are reaching across our area, Yavapai County to be exact. A lot of people are like, wow, it's good that we have this morning show. And obviously the production is doing way better. So thank you, Eric Knight. If everybody needs some pointers, Eric Knight has that, and he's willing to go ahead and give it up for you guys.
Hey, on what day is
Let's
it?
do it.
All right, so it's a weird week because Monday is kind of a holiday, and so today is Tuesday and the official start of Mardi Gras.
Okay. So is Fat Tuesday tomorrow? I mean, next week?
Today. No, it's today. Fat Tuesday.
Oh yeah, it's Tuesday. Taco Tuesday, Fat Tuesday. Got it. Yes. I think we're gonna have to celebrate that all day long.
The sad part is, I think everything's canceled in New Orleans.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe it's not, Eric. Maybe everybody thinks it is, but it's not. I don't think it is. I don't really think it is.
Don't forget, they're frozen. So everything in the south by Texas, I don't know how far east it goes, but they're not only do they have COVID and they've been locking things down, but I think they're frozen this week, my friend.
That's not a good thing.
It doesn't get better than here. We didn't even get snow last night.
I know, but we are going to be getting some weather today, and we'll get into that as soon as possible. But as everybody saw the headlines were saying marijuana, the laws of marijuana. So we'll get into that here in a short second. But Eric, we have a pretty big morning, and there's no doubt about it that we are going to go ahead and get educated today on these new marijuana laws. And as you guys know, it's been illegal for many years in Arizona, and all of a sudden, the green light, if we may say, has definitely opened up the doors, and it is, obviously it's a touchy subject in most cases. People still think they need to do behind closed doors. But in all reality, it is now legalized, but there is some rules that come with it. So at 11 o'clock today, we will be talking to Prescott Police Department PIO officer, John Brambilla. So we really appreciate him taking his time out and giving us a little bit of education on what to do and what not to do for this whole thing. So if you guys are wanting to know more, you're going to have to come in and stay tuned at 11. We already put the post out so you guys know where to go, how to find the place, et cetera, et cetera. So with that being said, I really think that the Arizona laws are a little bit different. Some people are a little bit scared of it. Some people are like, right on, let's do this. So we'll find out more from the police officer's point of view, so you guys know what not to do. And I think that's a great educational moment for you. So you do not want to miss this. And if you can't meet up with us live to ask a question live, you could always come back, because we always record our videos, and they're always out there. So they actually make a good presence known. And just to be in all honesty, guys, marijuana has a lot of, I feel, abilities to go ahead and help correct some things that are there for people, such as insomnia, and just like focusing, because a lot of people need to slow down. I mean, I don't know, just some good things. But let me go ahead and talk a little bit about the weather before I get into some of this marijuana stuff, because we are supposed to be getting some snow and rain today, but God, it's just not here. It's not coming. We only got 1% chance of rain. So wow, that kind of switched it all up overnight, guys. But at the same time, we have a high of 48% humidity, and we already know what that means for us Arizona folk.
What does that mean, Martin?
Well, what that means is that it's going to be a little sweaty, my friends. If you guys start going out there and your armpits start sweating just a tad bit more, and you're just like, ugh, I feel a little bit muggy. Well, that's what it is. this thing called humidity, and a lot of us don't really know what that means, man. So if you're from down South Florida, or I mean, even Phoenix has a little bit of humidity, so does Cottonwood, but Prescott, it's literally dry. So if you guys go out there and check that out, I mean, that means your hair is going to be a little bit different today. Eric, obviously, you can feel that humidity in
Is
your
that
hair.
what's going on? Okay.
Yeah, that's what's going on, man.
This
When you
long
start
hair
getting
is so weird. I don't know these things.
yeah. Well, you're gonna start feeling it, man, especially if you don't have the right products in life. So, anyways, so guys, this is what it's all about today. Today is the day that we find out more about the marijuana laws and how we can go ahead and not get ourselves in trouble, how to go ahead and actually approach this stuff. So if you guys want to follow us at 11 a.m. this morning. We'll be talking to Prescott Police Department PIO officer John Brambilla. Wow, that's a long title. But anyways, he is going to go ahead and educate on us on how and what not to do. And if anybody is really on the need to know, is weed legal in Arizona? Yes. Is weed capable of being smoked in public areas? No. And are you subject to get in trouble with driving and having marijuana on your system? Yes, you can get a DUI, you can get in trouble, but we want to go ahead and talk to John Brambella to go ahead and actually get the actual story. So if you guys want to go ahead and hear more at 11 a.m. this morning, we'll be on to talk with him about these things. And I know I have a lot of questions for everybody. So if you have any more questions, message us and we'll be able to go ahead and get those questions on the actual interview this morning. So
And
it's a big deal.
It's crazy, right? I mean, even the councils are having trouble. I heard Chino voted to only allow one dispensary, I think, within city limits, and that's what's going on everywhere right now. In Cottonwood, in Prescott Valley, all the councils, so tune in if you're interested. All the councils are voting and setting these standards and rules right now, and this is a critical time for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stories, a lot of what they said that you can't do and you can do, and I just want to go ahead and bring it out to you guys. We'll go ahead and also try to get on, some of the people that are on the marijuana side. To go ahead and tell you, the do's and don'ts. And so you guys are on the need to know. We're trying to get Safer Arizona lawyer and advocates to go ahead and talk with us about it. But you are also able to grow your own marijuana. I think up to 6 plants per 18 and older adult in the house, up to 2 adults in the house. So you're able to go ahead and grow 12 plants in your own backyard. So just FYI, guys, and I mean, ultimately, you guys got to understand too. If people start trying to cultivate marijuana, calling the police is just going to waste the police officers' time. They're going to be like, "Sorry, ma'am, it's legal now," or "Sorry, sir, it's legal now." So, just FYI, guys, if you see your neighbors growing some crops in the back of their yard, I mean, yeah, of course, it has to be a certain amount, but at the same time, it's legal. So,
Crazy changes going on. Crazy. I mean.
Yes, it's crazy. Okay, so I have a couple things that we want to go ahead and talk about. The first question is weed legal in Arizona? Yes, cannabis is legal for anyone over the age of 21 and patients of any age with qualifying conditions. So there is 2 differences. There is recreational and there's medical. And I heard that the style of how much the THC that's inside of the weed is available for your purchasing. So if you are an actual medical patient that is taking this medicine, there's not a limit, I don't think. So we're going to find out more about that. Adults can possess up to 1 ounce, 28 grams at a time, and grow up to 6 plants, just like I said. So I'm pulling this off of Weed Maps. If anybody wants to go ahead and read more of this, you're more than welcome to. It's on there.
And just to put on here, marijuana helps with Crohn's disease, anxiety, depression with some. This is different from, we've had medical marijuana legal for quite some time. If you had a card and things like that, this is going to be recreational marijuana. And this is where the laws are changing. And I mean, let's face it, they're going to be taxed a lot. That's why, this is going to be a big revenue boon for both the cities and for the state of Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if we actually talked about this, but in Chino Valley, they have like a bunch of groweries out there. And from what they have told me, that they can't even take the taxes from those actual earnings from those companies. They weren't allowed to grow. They weren't allowed to sell that marijuana inside of Chino Valley. But now that it is recreational and legal, I don't know if the rules or laws have changed. But guess what? They didn't even get no tax dollars off of those groweries out there in Chino Valley.
That's correct. And I know they don't like talking about it. They don't want to be known as the growing area, right? But yeah, the taxes come off of when it's sold to the consumer. And since you can't sell to the consumer there until recently, they've recently made some decisions to allow, I think, one dispensary. They got no tax money from any of that.
Yeah. And thank you, Junior, for the love for the vest. I like that. I like that too. If shout out to Junior, man, he's a good man. He's a reformed man. So thank you for joining us this morning, my friend. Thank you, TC Carpet Care, and good morning, Haley. So guys, this is a big deal in most cases because once again, remember back in the days when prohibition of the alcohol scenario was like a big deal and everybody was like doing it illegally and they were still getting the alcohol out there. They were having speakeasies where you could have a good old time. And then they would get raided and stuff. So this is a big deal for Arizona. It's going to be a pretty big like conversation today. So we are hoping that we could go ahead and help educate our community.
Uh-oh. Looks like San Martin has frozen. I hear you. Oh, there we go. Now we're moving again. All right, keep going. We can hear you. You're good.
Okay, no worries. Excuse me. So let me go ahead and give you a little bit of legislation history. Medical marijuana was first approved by Arizona voters in 1996 through an initiative allowing seriously or terminally ill patients to possess medical marijuana. So since 1996, this has actually been acceptable. And then Arizona tried again to legalize medical cannabis in 2002 with Proposition 203, but it only earned 42.7% of the vote. A viable solution was not approved until nearly 10 years later. Voters in 2010 passed the Arizona medical marijuana question, a much revised Proposition 203 by slim margin, 50% of the vote. After Proposition 203 passed, the first medical marijuana sales didn't take place until December 2012. Proposition 203 named the Arizona Department of Health Services as the agency responsible for developing and implementing rules and regulations for the Arizona Medical Cannabis Program. The initiative set at certain perimeters used by ADHS for qualifying patients and caregivers to receive access to medical marijuana. So now we are moving a little bit forward. And so the Smart and Safe Act appeared as Proposition 207 is what we're going to be talking about today on the general election ballot. In Arizona in November 2020, Arizonans voted in favor of legalizing recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older. The passage of this ballot initiative allowed adults over age of 21 to possess 1 ounce, which is equal to 28 grams of marijuana with no more than 5 grams of cannabis concentrates, and to cultivate up to 6 cannabis plants at their primary residence. The ballot initiative also imposed a 16% excess tax on cannabis and allowed for the expungement of some criminal records for marijuana possession. Sales began in January 2021, marking the fastest move from voter approval to sales of any U.S. state. So, the rules of purchasing cannabis: you must be 21, and patients and caregivers in the ADHS registry can purchase marijuana from nonprofit state licensed dispensary. Both groups may purchase cannabis flower, extracts, edibles, topical salves, and capsules. Adults can buy up to 1 ounce, 28 grams of cannabis with no more than 5 grams in the form of concentrates from a marijuana establishment, which is we only have 2 in Prescott Valley. I don't know if did you say that Chino Valley has one?
Did I say Chino Valley just approved one?
Okay, and so they are able to go ahead and pull that up there. So we are actually ready to go ahead and hopefully see that happen, because obviously you know how people are, they like convenience. So They don't
Sorry,
want to try to get a press.
Savannah in the chat's got a great question. Why are the limits different for med patients? I was told that if a med patient, no, Annie's saying no. So apparently Chino Valley has not approved one. Told if med patients run out of allotment, they're not allowed to buy under recreational. That's a great question for John, I think, at 11 o'clock. San Martin, can you add that to the list?
What was that question? If
it says, why are the limits different for meds patients? If I was told that if a med patient runs out of an allotment, they're not allowed to then buy under the recreational rules.
Oh, great question. Why I think that would be under. I think the actual dispensaries would have to answer that question. We could possibly be. Okay, here we go. I got the answer right here, my friends. Patients can purchase an amount of cannabis that would result in their possessing up to 2.5 ounces, 70 grams in 14-day period. Dispensaries use a state-provided tracking system. If patients are unable to make the purchase themselves, they may designate a caregiver or use a delivery service. Patients are subject to 6.6% state tax, in addition to an optional tax of 2 to 3 levied by cities. 2 to 3% levied by cities. Many nonprofit dispensaries offer discounts for patients in financial need. I think that, I guess that's a little bit of the answer, but I'm pretty sure that is going to be under the rules and regulations, and it's kind of messed up. I think one of the biggest reasons is because they didn't want to allow marijuana card holders, medical marijuana card holders, to purchase and sell. So I think that what they were trying to say is that this is for your consumption, not your friends and family, because you're supposed to, consume it yourself. So I'm thinking that they were trying to regulate it in order for you not to be able to purchase the stuff and then resell it. And I think that's kind of the biggest deal right there.
Well, and I guess we're going to have to ask John, but do we know if they're going to track the recreational marijuana purchases?
I have no clue. This is all something that we're going to have to. I actually put out a message to SWC. It's Southwest Cannabis, I think it's called. I put out a message to them so we can go ahead and have a conversation with them to maybe quite possibly, get some more information from them, so we can go ahead and actually, find out some of these great questions that everybody has.
Larry's got an update for Chino here. It says Chino Valley had a dispensary. It was closed down for health violations. The state has allowed for one licensed dispensary in Chino Valley. However, the council has not granted a business yet. So I know they were talking about it because I watched that council session. So no word on if anybody's applied for that license yet, but it looks like that there's a potential for one within city limits in Chino, but there's one in Prescott in city limits. Is that correct, San Martin, and one in Prescott Valley right now?
Yes. I think they're two different companies, to be honest. One has a couple in Arizona, and the other one has a few in Arizona. But yeah, two different companies, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, I'm trying to get some information from everybody, so we are all on the need to know. So we don't go out there and be like, oh my God, this is not cool, or this is cool, or and try to go ahead and get past the whole business part of it, because ultimately, guys, you do not want to get in trouble for this. It's not a good thing. And do you remember the guy that was in out there in what's that place called, on the way out of past Dewey, and they ended up having that kid that was on the hood, and he ended up falling off the hood.
Yes.
And they actually found marijuana in his system, so they gave him a marijuana DUI. So driving under the influence of marijuana, they can actually check your blood, and if everybody probably even acknowledges, knows that it stays in your blood for a very long time. So I don't know how they actually figure that out.
You're talking about the Black Canyon City thing from last week, right? Where the kid was on the car.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Black Canyon City.
So they charged him with a DUI, huh? That because he had marijuana in his system. Well, that's going to be a more common and real thing. I mean, it's the deal, right?
Yep. And once again, I heard this back in the days. Sitting in on a court hearing, was like, the judge said, whether you have medical marijuana license or not, it still doesn't give you an ability to probably get away from actually getting a DUI on if you're driving, because if they check your blood and you have marijuana in your system, they can still get you that marijuana charge. So just be prepared for anything, guys. And unfortunately, we don't have all the answers yet, but we will have some of the answers from the perspective of the police department in Prescott, Arizona. So that will help us out a lot. And we're going to actually ask, what are you guys focused on? What are you guys going to be headed and doing? What kind of things are you guys going to be looking for? And this is something that needs to educate our community. If you don't know, then we're all going to assume, and we already know what assumptions are.
Well,
So
the problem is that when this law was passed, there's been no guidance, and I think what Larry put in the comments is true. Basically, the state saying, okay, it's going to be legal because of the proposition that passed, and now it's up to the local governments on how they want to roll it out. And there is no requirement, is what he's saying here, that they have to provide a local dispensary, that they have to provide all these things. And so it's going to be up to each community, and it could be very different. Like you could go to Sedona, San Martin, and the rules are going to be really different than Prescott Valley. Even between Prescott, Chino, and Prescott Valley, you could cross those borders and have very, very different rules.
Yep. Each county is adopting their own set of rules and regulations. I know that Yavapai County came up. We probably could go ahead and get I think it's Councilman Brown for Yavapai County Council to come on and talk with us a little bit about what their suggestions and what their ideas are. But we will get a lot of information out of John today, because once again, that's the person that we all have to pretend to not pretend, but acknowledge, because these are the ones that are going to uphold these laws and rules and regulations. So it's probably good to start off with them, and then we can work on John, and then Councilman Brown, and move on from there and see what happens. Because once again, it's a big topic. A lot of people are consuming, and we need to make sure that you guys understand what the rules are.
And San Martin, it's on both sides, right? I mean, there's some really passionate feelings on both sides of this, and that's going to cause some conflict.
Yeah, there was a lot of a lot of people were like, don't let it turn your city upside down like it did to Colorado. And I mean, let's just, I have no clue what it looks like in Colorado.
Posting is there's actually a resource that apparently tracks what the impacts were, and there's ripple effects, right, that we can't see and that are going to be long term. And Annie's telling you Yavapai County Supervisor Craig Brown is who you're trying to.
Yeah, that's his name. Thanks, Annie. See, Annie's always there for the.
Annie's always right. Exactly.
All right, yeah, look at that. Larry Holt is giving us some information on the HIDTA reports and the impacts of legalization. Yeah, I mean, in most cases, Larry, we also have the the result of the actual alcohol when it became out of prohibition. I mean, it still to this day affects a lot of people. If you actually watch all the cop shows, half of or more than 95% of everyone that's having an issue or a problem is are drunk. They're drunk, man. They're getting arrested because they're too out of control. So alcohol has definitely impacted our world and our lives, and a lot of health issues as far as I mean, people have just it's bad. It's bad. Alcohol is bad. So don't get me wrong. I think that anything that alters the brain and stuff like that, if it's not consumed in moderation, it's going to be an issue for anybody. So make sure you guys protect that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to a little bit, because at 11 you will find out more about the marijuana. Let's talk about yesterday's event, Eric. We actually were able to go to the ribbon cutting of Boutique Air. And Boutique Air, if you guys do not know what Boutique Air is, it's an actual new airline that you could go to Prescott Airport, park your car, and get a flight down to Phoenix to catch your next flight to wherever you're going. And it's amazing. It goes 2 times a day, there and back, or so obviously 4 times. There and back, it has 8 passenger seating. So it's very small for right now until we start building up the need and demand. And then all of a sudden, I think they're going to go ahead and go more. But how did you like it?
This is amazing. I loved it. I mean, this is amazing. First of all, it was very inexpensive. Did they tell you the pricing?
Yes, 69.99 is what I remember hearing. It could be just a tad bit little lower, but right now it's
We heard the same thing. And I think that's a one way. And they drop you at Terminal 3 in Phoenix. So you can take the SkyTrain to other terminals or whatnot from there. But man, I love it. I mean, do you know how much parking costs down at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport? I mean, it's like $60 a day if you park in any of the garages, and if you park further away, it gets cheaper. But that or the shuttles, I mean, this is great, and they get you there. And how long did they say the flight was? Did they tell you?
25 minutes. So it takes you a 2 hour drive and condenses it down to 25 minutes. And if anybody knows it, it costs about maybe, well, now that the gas prices are going up, it's probably going to cost around $35, $45 just for the gas there and back. And then the parking there at the airport. And obviously, by the time you are done, I don't know how long anybody's trips goes, but sometimes it's a week long. This could be a very big alternative. You could get a taxi from our local taxi companies, preferably the AA taxi cab, and then headed to Prescott Airport and jump on the flight there, head down to Phoenix, and then voila, you're there in a
That
matter of time.
All right. And so I don't want to, say too much, but we got to sit down with one of their VPs. He was nice enough to chat with us, and you did a full interview with him yesterday. But he's based out of Las Vegas, and I was like, when are we going to have a shuttle to Las Vegas? I mean, people would love that. And he said they are thinking about it. So if there's a demand, we could easily have a 45-minute trip or 30-minute trip over to Vegas from the Prescott Airport in the future.
And that could be a huge deal. I heard it was a little bit less expensive to fly out of Vegas to like Hawaii. I heard there was a little bit of a incentive driving and getting to Vegas and flying out of there. So
it is Vegas. Vegas flies to everywhere, internationally, domestically. Like every airline flies into Vegas. So yes, if you can get to Vegas, you can get some serious places from Vegas.
And you know what, Eric? We actually, well, not Eric, everybody. Do you know what happened? Me and Eric had a sneak peek of the new terminal. We had a chance to go through there, see where everything's going. It's not done yet. It's supposed to be done by the end of March. I think he said.
March. He said 30 days, so that's not quite the end of March, but yeah.
Yeah, so we are expecting this. We went in there. There was still some things that cosmetic stuff that need to be done, furniture, and all the computer stuff. All that stuff needs to be put in there.
He said we're getting a full scanner, like the TSA is bringing one of those full body scanners.
Yeah, and this is going to be a safe little place, man. So once again, TSA screening is going to needs to happen. So you guys got to show up a little bit early to get through that process and get on that plane.
The coolest thing about this airport is, so you remember, well, maybe you don't, but when we were kids before September 11th, you used to be able to go to the gate and see people off. Like you could walk up right to the gate and see the planes take off. Do you remember that?
No, Eric, I've only been on a plane once.
Got it. Okay. Well, it was really cool. So you used to have family members that used to be able to walk to the gate. I remember being a little kid, like they would scan my stuffed animal through TSA, and you get to walk to the gate and you get to see people off. And when September 11th happened, they stopped that. And so most of the airports were built pre-September 11th. So it's just clunky to do anything like that. They built this airport so there's an outside seating area that's pre the TSA that's right next to the window of where the gate is. So you can literally, if you just want to see somebody off, go to this area, which is outside. That's all covered. It's all part of the airport, and you can watch them load on the gate and take off.
See, and that's cool. It still has that small town comfort level. I mean, there's going to be a little bit more parking. The restaurant I heard was going to stay there because the building that it was originally in is historical building. So that's going to still stay there. And I think that was awesome. We had a chance to go ahead and get a bite to eat there yesterday. And it was actually really awesome to be a part of that whole ordeal yesterday. So thank you, City of Prescott, for inviting the Prescott Times out. And thank you, Boutique Air, for giving us the opportunity in the interview. And he suggested that he will go ahead and get us a flight to Phoenix and back, just to go ahead and try it. And so we're going to hit them up, and we're going to do that, guys. We're going to actually get involved with it and have one of those moments.
It's good. And, the airport, so I know we're out of time, but it reminded me of the mall. the infrastructure, the way the ceilings were, the wood tops. It's a really beautiful building.
Yeah, it is. And if you guys want to see that, we have a bunch of pictures that Eric and myself have taken. And you go to the Prescott Times Facebook page and Instagram page, and you see all those pictures. It's beautiful. We even got a picture of that top top off, they called it, with all the city councilmen and all the CEOs and et cetera, that wrote their signature on there, put a date on there. So we got a picture of that. So that was pretty cool to actually see. But yeah, man, it's like Prescott. Jim right here is like, oh, turning into California. To be an honesty, it's just we're moving forward in life, and so ultimately, sometimes it happens. And airports are kind of like a big deal when you want to go ahead and travel just a tad bit. So convenience, I guess, but at the same time, I could feel that. And that's going to be the new like downtown Prescott area from what I've been listening to.
That is where they want to move all the growth out there too. And so all the new resorts, all the new tech stuff, they want that all out by the airport. They had said, Mayor Megarelli said yesterday that it's the fastest growing rural airport in the state right now. Just the amount of flights going out of there and the people getting on planes there, even with COVID. They continue to get more and more people boarding flights and out on that airport. So anyway, San Martin, we're over. We have so much to talk about, and you've got so much to point them to on the Prescott Times. Let's do it.
Yes, most definitely. So if you guys want to find out any more information, go to theprescotttimes.com and check out the stories that are going to be released. Until then, go ahead and just keep on following us on all our social networking. We're still doing the subscribe and win $100. We will be picking somebody this Friday, even if it's the littlest people. But thank you, everybody that has subscribed to the YouTube channel. And thank you all for joining and keeping us afloat. And also keeping me and Eric entertained whenever we go out there to the city streets. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I like your morning show. So thank you guys all for watching. And I appreciate everything that you guys are doing and helping us with. Until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And don't forget, we'll see you at 11. Make sure you join in with us. We'll be talking to Prescott Police Department, John Brambilla. So until then, peace, love, and happiness. Let it not be war. And remember, love always wins. I see you guys later. Bye.